it is Last Tango in Atlanta. I've never seen Last Tango in Paris. Have you?
No, and I never will.
Yeah, I have no interest.
Just need to know our friendship won't end. My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy.
Hello and welcome to Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers, where nerds and platonic life partners Erin and Leslie watch episodes of Designing Women, then recap, review, and share other fun things related to the show. I'm Leslie.
And I'm Erin.
What's up?
Oh man, how many? We should count what show number we're on, because I think 99.8% of them, it's always been just me cracking up after our silence and us not really exactly knowing where to go.
This
except
is
for
123.
Is it? How did you know that?
Thanks, Podbean told me. It has.
Oh, fantastic! Wow. Oh,
It's very easy
fantastic!
to find.
Wow.
And almost 15,000 downloads just from Podbean.
15,000?
Thanks, y'all. We got 14,611. Yeah.
That's probably, like, to me, I'm impressed. That's probably not impressed compared to
I'm
all the
impressed.
podcasts, but I'm like,
Thanks, y'all.
that's especially because it's from Podbean. Like, not
just
everyone
from
goes.
Podbean.
Not everyone goes
Yeah,
there.
it's not
you
from
know?
like apps and stuff. Yeah.
Oh shit. I have to just accept we're gonna have listeners now, and that people are gonna know about how obnoxious I am and the inner workings of my life. And oh me. Leslie, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm apparently out of control today, but that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Can't be tamed.
Can't be tamed.
We're gonna skip the holiday because it's not that interesting.
Done them before.
We've done them before, guys. Guess what? We're in year. We're starting year 4 now, I guess, right? Because we've done it for 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're starting year 4, and yeah, we're gonna hit some loops of things being repeated and all that kind of stuff. And now, we've actually done the national day since like we started, so yeah, we barely have skipped. Would you like to talk about your sugar baker moment?
I don't have one, but I do have one shout out.
Okay.
This week. The Farewell, directed by Lulu Wang. I went and saw that today, and it was very good. It won the Vanguard Award at Sundance this year, and she's kind of like blowing up everywhere now, and I hope that she directs 800 more movies because
the director's blowing up. I didn't. Yeah, I haven't really. I guess I don't know very much.
It was her first film, and it's based on like her family and her life, and the premise is that this Chinese American like mid-20 something probably woman living in New York. They find out that her grandmother in China is dying of cancer, but in China most families don't tell the older people like when they get cancer that they have it because they think it affects the quality of their life, and they feel that like the fear of it will kill them faster than if they didn't know.
Yep.
And so there's this big farce of her cousin getting married, and he is actually getting married, but like he's been dating this girl for 3 months, and you can totally tell, but like everybody wants to go see their grandmother one more time, so they put on this like big wedding, and like the whole family goes home so they can see her again. Wow. And it's like she doesn't know, but everybody else knows, and like the young woman of course wants to tell her. And so there's a lot of differences, not just between like Asian culture and American culture, but like being raised a little bit one place and then being westernized, and how much that changes you and your opinion and your views of the world and family and life and autonomy and everything else. And it was really good. I did not cry as much as I thought I would, but it's still like it's a tearjerker, but there's still funny moments, and I laughed a lot, and the people around me like giggled a lot too. So it's worth seeing. It's wide now because it was just in New York and LA for a minute, and now it's everywhere, or mostly everywhere. But yeah, that was good.
I had just learned about this cultural dynamic recently.
Me too. I didn't know about it before this.
Yeah, that this is a thing that I work, at a teaching hospital, and we talk about autonomy being huge in like patient care, and that like we have ethics board and committee and people, and I've been to their meetings. I go 4 times a year to their meetings, and that is one of the biggest things is the autonomy. of patients and be able to request the care they want. And what do we do if they are not able to communicate for some reason, and if someone's not appointed to be the person to make decisions and all that kind of stuff. Huge. And then I work with, of course, I'm in like a metropolitan city. I work with chaplains from all over the world, as well as staff from all over the world in general. And they talk about how that's very Western, and that actually it's not just Chinese, that they're saying also Japanese. So I don't know, if it's Asian countries, if it's East, it's versus West or whatever. Like it sounds like to you from what you're saying, it's like East-West thing. But that the doctors will literally lie to patients in order to not tell them that they have cancer, because they think that it affects their mental health and therefore actually can kill them quicker. And also that there's this idea of like independence and like autonomy and something else, very Western ideas of like the self versus some Eastern culture ideas of like the not the individual, but the community. The community is really emphasized, and so it's like what's best for the family even versus the person, because the person is part of the family. It gets all into it, which is funny because also I live in Los Angeles, where there are a lot of cultures from like Mexico, Korea, China that are bringing that here, though, that particularly like Mexico is considered like the West, but that's the thing, like Mexico is the West, but people won't lie to their family members who are like Roman Catholics from Mexico necessarily, but it is about the whole versus the individual. Like the person is not allowed to like be in the hospital by themselves. There'll be like at least 9 family members at a time here. Wow. Because it is considered part of the healing process and taking care of each other, that there will always be lots of family around you, because otherwise you're sick on your own and you actually could be sicker or die quicker or something like that. It's a cultural kind of like unsaid, unconscious cultural belief. So, and but with the Catholicism, it's because like everyone shows up for like all the baptisms and all the, the rituals and that type of stuff. Anyway, fascinating. So you enjoyed it. You would recommend it.
Yes, it was very good. And shout out to Aquafina for like dominating
oh my God.
That like very dramatic but also subtly comedic role. Like she was great.
I knew she was going to be so good. That's why I want to see it, is because she is one of my loves.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I just will have to wait till I can rent it and not be surrounded by sick and dying people.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I would not recommend it right now. Maybe give yourself some time and space and then
do it. And you went to Alamo.
I did go to Alamo. That's my home away from home. Those are my people.
They finally opened the one here like this month.
Did they?
Like, too late, Alamo. Just kidding, I wasn't. But
yeah, right.
But it was cute. That
but you'll have one when you come back.
I'll have one when I come back. Yeah, I know. It's great. So that's pretty cool. If you guys are living anywhere close enough to an Alamo, I was talking to one of my friends is in Iowa and one's in Oregon, and I was talking to them about how cool Alamo Draft House is, and they're like, we have some that are kind of like that. And I was like, it's not Alamo. I was like such a snob.
It's not the same.
But no, actually, like they sounded really cool, the ones that they were talking about. So I shut up real quick. Yeah.
Oh, sad news. Mission Valley sold. They're no longer owned locally.
That is
as of this week.
Heartbreaking.
Doesn't that suck? Because we lost Colony and now we're losing Mission Valley, and they're gonna renovate it.
I am done. I'm burning Raleigh down.
I know they're gonna renovate it and make it like the fancy seats, and I'm like, you can't do that shit right next to a college campus. Like those kids have no money. They're not gonna pay more for that.
Oh my!
And
goodness.
It's an institution. I'm so sad.
It's so sad because they played like they didn't have that many independent stuff. They had like the big movies, but it had that vibe. It had that like college local theater vibe.
It was local. It wasn't like indie, but it was local, and like they still have their original projectors in the lobby, like as art pieces.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm super bummed about
too
that.
Bad.
So,
I would go
week of Tuesdays. Totally found out about that this week.
For real. It was. You know what? That's my sugar break from getting through this damn week. It actually is. Is that a good transition?
Same.
Is that a good one?
That
'Cause
is
I
a
don't-
great transition. What
I
was
don't
your
really
sugar baker
I
moment?
don't really feel like I have one either, but I am just so excited that I got through this week. I had 2 overnights and a yesterday that was so intense.
Like
Yesterday was so
90 hours.
intense it hit me like a few times, and then at the end of the day, I was just driving up and down Wilshire Boulevard, because that's when you can get kind of like a little bit speed up and stuff,
A little
bit, and it's blasting girl talk, and just like I usually am not a fan of loud music and all that stuff, but last night it was just like exactly what like I needed. If I lived alone, I probably would have come home and like just danced it or something like that, but I don't. I have a roommate. And also I share like a building with people, so I was just like, this is what's going to happen right now. And I have learned how to drive like a Los Angelino.
Hey.
So yeah. I'm very impressed by that. I've learned to drive just as crazy, but I am being safe. I don't know that they're being safe, and I don't almost hit pedestrians, so that's one thing. But like how to be kind of like how to just like get where you need to go, and kind of not always obeying all the rules necessarily, like it's just like, or I don't know, just to get where you need to go. I've learned how to do that safely, though. I don't mess with not being safe because I can't deal with that. And so that was fun to do that last night. So yeah, I've survived this week of Tuesdays. Pretty psyched about that.
Yes.
And I also celebrated by hiking Griffith Park just now, which is fun. And I will go back next week because I actually didn't make it to where I wanted to get to. I got too overheated, and then I was like, I gotta go back down. It's too much right now. It's not even hot. It's like just upper 70s right now. But our desert sun can like get you. And I realized I was like, Erin, you like didn't sleep this week. That's what you're feeling right now.
It's hitting you.
So I got a good old workout, good sweat. But this is where this transitions also into shout outs. I've got plenty.
Let's do it.
I will. 2 are for products that I used for my hike. The first one is just Sun Bum mineral, what do we call that? Sunscreen. I have been using it for years and years and years, and it is one of the only vegan and also gluten-free if you're like allergic to gluten. Because people who are allergic to gluten, like they can't have it in their like products. They'll like their rash and stuff.
Because it'll
it's
sink
horrible.
into your skin.
Yeah, well, but also like your skin will react to it. Like I had a friend who like she couldn't use shampoo with gluten in it. Because I was like, why do they have to tell me this shampoo is gluten free? And she said, because like my scalp will go crazy. She's like allergic versus like intolerant. If it's intolerant, that's something different. But yeah, Sun Bum. I've been using them for years and years. When I went to Sri Lanka, I was never sunburnt. I am in the sun a lot, and I do not get sunburnt, so I love them. Also, I'm in love with my fanny pack. I almost said Danny Ocean pack.
Danny Ocean pack, that's what we call it.
That's what we call it, because just one time I think you put Danny instead of fanny pack on your phone.
Yep.
This is fun. Both of us always do lots of typos, and then it becomes a thing. It's like that's just how it's spelled now.
I'll share the picture.
Will you? Oh God, great!
I didn't Photoshop it. I gimped it because I don't have Photoshop.
Oh. Well, great. That's even better. I love it. So I got my fanny pack like a couple last week or two weeks ago, and it was last week because it was during the week because this was the first time I used it on a hike. And I am now a person who really loves to watch YouTube reviews of bags. I love bags. This is something I've learned about myself very much. Like I'll just watch like a YouTube like, oh, tell me about the features. And I shared this with my friend Jennifer yesterday that I was like, I am just like a bag person, not someone who like Coach or Gucci or Prada or whatever, not like that it's a designer or something like that. I love bags that have like features, like they have like organization, or they're made from like eco materials, or the company itself loves to like have people who work so like locally and use local materials and all kinds of stuff. I'm one of those nut bars, probably. I think there's like probably a legion of us. And so that's what happened with this, is that you got your fanny pack for work. I saw that our friend Kara has her fanny pack that has like flying squirrels on it or something like that.
So cute.
So cute. And I was like, I also need to join this girl gang of fanny packs, Danny Ocean packs, and looked up into. But here's the other thing: is I really like hiking gear, even though I'm not that great a hiker and don't hike that much and stuff, that kind of stuff. But I love hiking gear because it's really functioning, functional, if you will. And so my fanny pack is one of those expensive ones that is needlessly expensive because it's a bag. It's like it's just a container with like 3 extra pockets or something, called Thrupack. I will put this in the show notes. It's called Thrupack. They're a small company. I got the Summit Bum, which I love that it's called Summit Bum.
That's
because
awesome.
Like most other countries call them bum bags, not fanny packs. And I got it because it was recommended, but then also I saw that it has, you put your strap through like a particular area, so you can so the strap actually can go all around your body like a hula hoop. Like you can just move it. I'm sorry, the bag itself, once you have the strap on you, you can just like move the bag all around you. And that's why it like was a game changer for my hike, because I usually I love backpacks, are my favorite bags. I love big, small, whatever. I usually have a backpack, and my back gets so sweaty. So that's one thing, is it's kind of away from your body. It's not going to make you sweat. And then I can move it back and forth. Like I'd be like, I would just like throw it on to the back part of me when I'm like going up the mountain, and then I'm like grabbing my phone to like text you or change the song or something like that. And like I put my phone in the little pocket where the like strap goes. And so you just boop, boop, in and out. I was like, yes, it's so good. So we'll put in the show notes. There we go. So those are the products. We don't usually like talk about products necessarily, but why not while we're shouting out things?
If you like it.
If I like it. I'll also share some of my media shout outs, if that's all right.
Media, please do.
You, let me think. I thought I had more than I do. I think my new favorite, I'm like, I should have written these down because I was like, wait a minute, I'm sure I have more, but maybe not. My new favorite, I could watch like the whole series right now, probably as long as it stays in the same thing, was one that, again, IMDb recommended to me. You remember how like 2-3 weeks ago they're like, do you want to watch Tank Girl? And now Tank Girl's on Prime. I've been waiting for this day to come. I've been waiting
so long.
So good. I was like, yes. So yay. So yeah, IMDb TV, apparently, I don't know why this is a thing now, but they are having quality stuff that I'm really excited about. For me, maybe it's not what other people like, but they offered this show called Playing House that I randomly started yesterday when I was at work because I needed a break. I was like, oh, what is this? Oh, I know I knew one of the ladies from being on lots of comedy podcasts, and then the other one apparently has as well, and I just like never noticed her name or something like that. And they're real life best friends, and it's the premise is that one has been like living abroad in like China, but also kind of ran away from home in order to like run away from herself, and she's coming back home, and they end up just kind of being in each other's lives again and all that kind of stuff. And I love also Keegan-Michael Key's in it, and I love him very, very much. It is always a bonus when he shows up. And Lennon, Parham, and Jessica Sinclair are the main leads, and lots of funny people that I've seen other things show up. But what I love about it is like the friend part of it. Like I was like, oh, this just says something to me because I'm about to move home, I'm about to be around like my best friends that I haven't lived in the same place with, apart from like a couple months, for like years. So I was really excited about that. I was distracted when my crush Jason Mantzoukas showed up last night. Did not know that he was going to be in there at all. I had no idea. I had no idea, and I found out right as you were going to sleep, and it was like maybe 10 o'clock at night or something like that. I screamed and fell out of my chair. It was a very strong reaction. And I told you, I was like, I should look up what he's in so this doesn't happen again. And I was like, no, wait, this was too good. I want to be surprised. I want to not know, especially when he plays characters that aren't quite as crazy. He tends to be crazy, but if it's something that's just like a little less crazy, like this character has some sweet moments, so that was fun. But I'm excited that was just, as I told you, one episode that he was in, so that the rest of the time I'm like, I don't want like a cute boy distracting me. I want like focusing on the friends and how realistic their friendship is, and I think it's honoring women friendships. So good. So Playing House, it's on, you can get it on, there are 3 seasons, I think that's it. You can get it on Amazon Prime, but IMDb TV is now like, hey, would you like to watch this with some commercials? And I recommend it. It's so nice.
That's cool.
I've been talking to you about it. I told my friend Lee that like if she doesn't watch it before I get back, then we should definitely watch it together, because her and I grew up together. Yeah, I think that might be it for all my shout outs.
Oh, your shout outs.
It seems like
that wasn't that many.
But... Oh, thanks. Yeah. Is it episode time? Should we talk about the episode?
It is episode time. What did we watch this week?
Okay, this week we watched the right episode. Because originally I watched the wrong one because I didn't look at numbers. We'll just blame my slight dyslexia for that. This week we watched season 6, episode 7. Oof, I didn't finish typing the title, but it's Last Tango in Atlanta. And it first aired October 21st, 1991. Oh, that's funny that they were talking about her hair being red for Halloween. And this aired before Halloween. Well, that's all right. But TV Guide, the spoiler queendom, fiefdom, whatever, says a prison outreach program. Oh, when they said outreach, I thought a prison outbreak.
Oh.
I was like, what? A prison outreach program beckons Anthony back to jail. Okay. Where T. Tommy Reed, played by MC Gainey, continues to reside. And then Jack Henry, who is the guy they're talking to, I guess, is played by Christian Clemenson, which is a good actor name. Got that alliteration. And so, yeah, T. Tommy Reed is back, played by MC Gainey, and I love MC Gainey. So that's fun. Leslie, what happened this episode?
So we start at Sugar Baker's as per usual. Mary Jo says that she just needs to rest for a minute and put her feet up because she bought Scarlet, the sequel to Gone with the Wind, which they also did a mini-series for. And I've seen it.
Oh,
very long time ago, like probably younger than I should have been watching such things, but whatever. And Mary Jo stayed up half the night finishing it, and my little hashtag there was book nerd problems. She stayed up too late finishing a book.
That's cute.
And Julia can't believe that she bought the book in the first place, and she's like, yeah, since this one was such a bestseller, they're just going to start publishing sequels to every book ever written. And then my side note to Julia here was like, I hate to tell you what happens to movies by 2019.
Yeah, it's going to get worse. It's not.
You're going to be pissed.
Julia. Sorry. This is it now.
And sorry, she says the next thing you know, there'll be a Grapes of Wrath Part 2. Joe will buy a family Winnebago and move to Bel Air.
That sounds nice.
And then,
that sounds nice.
That sounds nice. And Carlene asks Mary Jo what happens to Rhett and Scarlet, and then Mary Jo's like, well, and then she immediately says, no, please don't tell me. Like, I don't want to know. And she says it's been a while since she's read the last one, but she doesn't remember Scarlet having a strong, warm, thrusting feeling in her aching emptiness. This is what Mary Jo says. Like, she thinks there's a lot of differences between Scarlet and Gone with the Wind, mainly that Scarlet reads like a bodice ripper romance novel. And Carlene's like, ew, it says that about Scarlett O'Hara? And Mary Jo says, it makes you long for the days when Rhett just carried her up the stairs. I mean, we can fill in the rest. We don't need anybody spelling out every thrust, do we?
Every thrust. I love that.
Every thrust. And Carlene says, well, I sure don't. And Mary Jo just like can't believe that she read this whole book. Also, she can't believe that she read the Geraldo Rivera book. And then after finishing both of these books, she had a terrible nightmare that Scarlett and Geraldo were having sex in the boiler room in the basement of Terra. Then they got married, and then she changed her name to Scarlett O'Hara Riviera. Then he did the show on women who shoot Yankees too much. It's a very vivid dream.
Yeah. I like Scarlett O'Hara Riviera, though. Or Rivera, not Riviera.
Yeah,
Sorry,
same.
Rivera. It's a good one.
And Carlene has apparently bought in these breakfast bars for them or whatever, and she asks Julia how hers is. Then Julia's like, it's fine. She asks Mary Jo, and Mary Jo says it's pungent with an impudent crunch.
Oh my
crunch.
gosh.
And they never bring that up again. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah.
And then Allison comes in
Is
with
it because it's like what's in the novel? Is that the joke? Right?
I guess that like
That's
she's been reading all of this like lavish prose, and then but then they just drop that. Then Allison comes in with this frizzy red hair permed to an inch of its life, like it's bad. And she asks Mary Jo if she's just ignoring the fact that her hair looks like this, and she's like, Mary Jo, did you call the Atlanta Constitution about enlarging our ad? And Carlene's like, oh, did you do that for Halloween? And Allison's like, it's noticeable, isn't it? And Julia's like, I would have to say yes. It's noticeable.
It is, yeah.
And then she says she just went in for a routine touch-up, and the hairstylist is Japanese, and everybody says that he's the best. So when he said, why don't we do something bold? She's like, go for it. And she's like, by the way, if your hairdresser ever says, let's do something bold, kill him. And she says, I didn't kill him, unfortunately, so I'm going to do the next best thing. I'm going to sue him until he is dead. Where is Anthony? Anthony had a law school class this morning, and then he comes in like almost immediately after she asks where he is. Gotta love that sitcom timing.
Love it. It's great.
And he's looking at all these messages, and she immediately wants to talk to him about filing a lawsuit. And he asks what it's all about, and then he looks at her and then immediately just starts giggling, and she wants to know after he looks at her for 2 seconds if she can sue. And he's like, I don't think so, but you can apply to clown college. And he says, I'm glad you are here. I want to ask you something. There's this man in the prison outreach program, and I'm going to participate, and I wanted to know if y'all wanted to participate too. This whole program really helps Anthony appreciate how far he's come. And he says, nowadays, if I have a problem, it's how to combine law school with my promising career here. And 7 years ago, it's what can I do and where can I hide so I don't have to do the cha-cha with T. Tommy Reed. And Mary Jo catches up Carlene and Allison, who have not been with us for 6 seasons and do not know the history of T. Tommy Reed.
They've never heard T. Tommy Reed, yeah.
They don't know who he is. And so he's like, oh, Mary Jo says, oh, he's the meanest guy on Anthony's cell block. At one point, he checked out a book on table manners, which we have heard this story before. They have not. He checked out a book on table manners from the prison library and then stabbed an inmate because he served him from the wrong side. Anthony's definitely told that story before.
Yeah.
And Carlene says, oh, Anthony, you know such interesting people. And Julia says she wants to help, but she doesn't know what she has to say to these men, like what she would have in common with them, what could, motivate them.
Yeah.
And Anthony's like, well, you gave me a job. You kept promoting me. You co-signed my college loan. I just want you to let them know that there are people who can help. And also, I thought maybe you could sing. They never get any entertainment there, except for that one time when they said Gladys Knight was coming and only one Pip showed up.
No.
Gladys Knight and the Pimps. That was really disappointing for them. And Julia says, I'm grateful, that they want you there and that you want me there, but I have to think about it. I've only sung at church socials and weddings, and certainly not for hardened criminals. Mary Jo kind of interrupts her here, and she's like, hardened criminals who haven't seen a live woman in 20 years. And Julia's like, thank you, Mary Jo. And Anthony says, need I remind you that these are human beings, and 7 years ago I was one of them.
Yeah.
And Allison's like, look, this is all very moving. I hope you have a wonderful time. Leave your dental records on my desk. And then we cut to, I guess there was a commercial break here, and we cut to the Atlanta State Penitentiary. They, like, Anthony walks in, it's fine. The ladies walk in, and they start going insane. Just, like, hooping.
Wow.
Yeah. Just hollering.
Can I do my little pirouette on the soapbox for a second?
Please do.
Before we go further into the description of the inmates, this is offensive to everyone, like a little bit. Like that. Yeah, that people, that men in I almost said college, that is probably the Freudian slip, that men in the prison system are just so starved for sex that they would escalate to the levels that this episode escalates. Like, just because there are some women, they're just women. They're not, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, they're, like, covered up in full suits. They're not, you know, like, the most provocative women, if you will. It's just like they're just women, and that the men cannot contain themselves. Honestly, that is a stereotype that I'm about ready to get rid of.
Right.
For people that are you know, in the prison system. Like, come on. Anyway,
yeah,
it's a 90s sitcom.
It's a 90s sitcom. Stereotypes.
So I'm just a
about.
little bit on the soapbox, but you know, I don't think that stereotype's going to go away. Anyways, anytime soon. I'm just here to say I'm not here for it. Okay, continue.
Same. Also, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you want a really good show about prison, watch Wentworth. It's not men, but it is women, and it's excellent.
Yep. I can't remember, but we have a follower. I can't remember their actual line right now, but we have a follower who is on Instagram and on Twitter who is great and loves Wentworth and posts a lot of things. And shout out to you.
Yes.
Maybe I'll look up the name while we're talking. Sorry,
Frankie and Gidget for life. Anyway, sorry.
Because things I'm not so good. Continue.
Do what? Sorry.
Let's say continue.
Okay, sorry. I'm hearing you through like auto tune, so if I'm a little delayed, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It sounds like you're like a weird auto tuned robot or something. Skype is losing its mind.
Oh shit! Did this just start?
No, it was like very, very like subtle at the beginning, and so it didn't matter. But like it's like getting worse, so it's okay. I can make out what you're saying. It's just if I'm a little delayed, I'm sorry. So if I interrupt you, it's not just me being a dick. I promise.
Oh, hon. Oh, you poor thing.
No, it's good. I just wanted you to know that I wasn't being an asshole on purpose. If that happens.
No. Okay. While we were talking. It's Maud from Twitter is who I was talking about.
Oh, hey.
Who loves Wentworth and posts on both of, and it's like one of our like awesome followers who I interact with a certain amount of time. But I had to make sure I was like, it's Maud or something. So there we go. Continue.
Aw, and then there's Maud. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
So Allison is wearing a really ridiculous wig, and she walks in and immediately like. These guys are just losing their minds. Like, they see 4 women. They know nothing about them. They couldn't tell you, like, their hair color, I'm sure, because they're just, like, rabid. And she's like, they're staring at my wig, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what it is.
And Julia's like, trust me, they're not staring at your wig. They haven't gotten that far.
Gotten that far. I love it.
Not made that far up. And the director asks how their lunch was. And Mary Jo says delicious, but she would like to sit down now. She like looks a little green. And this official says that the other prison officials, like, he's so glad they're there because they said it was a terrible idea to invite lady visitors here, but he thinks it's gonna work out okay.
Okay.
And Julia's like, what does he mean he thinks it's gonna work out okay? And then the official gets up and starts talking about Anthony's success story. And so he introduces Anthony. Anthony stands up. These guys barely like put their hands together at all for Anthony.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, when that happened, I thought it was like maybe he had burned some bridges or something in the prison system, or like,
it's just he's a
you
dude.
know, like, yeah, he's just a dude. I didn't realize that we were still, this is how my brain works.
Yeah,
but
I just thought it was because there were like 4 ladies there, and they're like, "Why is he talking?"
Yeah, no, that's right. No, that's completely right. I was out of it. I was like, "Oh no, did Anthony do something?" Like to piss off people that are, you know, I don't know. So no, it's because they're women and they're waiting for the women.
Right. And so like he starts talking and they're doing nothing, and then he introduces his business associates and they go nuts again.
Mm-hmm.
And so the plan is that Anthony's going to speak and Julia's going to sing. And he, of course makes the mistake of like saying that. And then the guys all start chanting song, 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 like all of them. It's very annoying and it goes on way too long. And then Anthony looks at Julia and he's like, maybe you ought to go first. And she's like, no, I don't think so, Anthony. And Anthony's like, all right, here goes. And then Carlene's like, break a leg. And Anthony's like, I wish you hadn't said that. And so Anthony tries to give his speech and these guys are still chanting like song, song, song. And he is trying to go through about how he used to be one of them and he never imagined leading the life he has today. And then he like gets a little scared because he realizes he's kind of like talking bad about the life in prison that he had. And so out of fear, he starts to backtrack a little bit. And then he talks about going to the library in the prison or whatever. And then once he got out, and then T. Tommy stands up and you see him and now you know that he's there. And he's like, oh, Anthony, how you doing? And then Anthony just like freaks the entire fuck out. And he's like, never better, never better, never better. Poor Anthony. And then like T. Tommy's trying to like rally the dudes because he does like Anthony. He's like, yeah, Anthony was my best dance partner. And then he wants Anthony to dance for them, and then all the dudes start chanting dance, dance, dance. And then Carlene tries to cut in, and then they chant the song part again. And then Julia's like, I don't think this is gonna work. Like, we need to get out of here. And the official's like, please don't leave. If this fails, I'll never get anyone else in the community to come here. And he's like, maybe Julia, maybe you should sing your song.
Yeah.
And so Julia's like, all right, Anthony, hit it. And he starts playing the piano. And then she starts to sing and they're still chanting. But then when she's like gets into it, they're just like transfixed. And they just like stare at her for like 5 seconds. And then they think this is boring. And then she tries to like pick up the tempo of the song.
She has very like operatic singing.
Yeah. She sings in church a lot. Like, and not like new, like old spiritual songs. Like old hymns, not even like spirituals. And then she tries to like pick up the tempo with Anthony. And then there's a siren and a prison break is happening. And Julia keeps singing and all the men are like making a break for it except for T. Tommy, who's just chilling and like watching the show. And then they have to lock the prison down and they're all stuck in there with T. Tommy in this. It's not a cell because it's like larger than that. It's a meeting room that has bars on it.
Bars, yeah. One thing also before we get off of her singing, since I did kind of accidentally watch the next episode, I think that like probably everything that Julia says in that next episode is why she's singing in this episode. That's because they make her be super liberal in the next one. Yeah, and that's kind of my nervousness because it's not even. I don't consider the issue to be liberal versus conservative. I consider it be like women, but I have learned that women aren't all on the same page about women. So my unfortunately hunch is maybe all the stuff that she says in the next episode is why she's singing in this one. Maybe is why
she got to sing in this one. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, and I'm sure next episode we will both be on soapboxes.
Oh god, yeah, it's not even going to be a pirouette, y'all. I'm going to have one for each feet. I'm going to be straddling them. I'm going to be doing a split with two of them, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah,
and let me
prepare yourself
for the show.
Which
notes.
One? Spoilers. What is it? Is the T-shirt that Mary Jo wears? She lied or he did it? Do you remember?
She lied. Hold on. No.
Okay, because one of them is wearing a T-shirt that says he did it.
Julia Duffy is she lied. Mary Jo is he did it.
Okay. I believe that shit. Yeah, that'd be me. I'd be wearing Mary Jo's t-shirt. We'll talk about it next episode. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have not seen that episode in a solid 15 years, but I do remember the t-shirts.
Brace for it. and listeners.
Yeah. So just prepare yourselves.
People may be really mad
maybe
at us after
we
this
can
episode.
do what?
People may be very mad at us after that episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But you know what?
okay.
I'll try to put in like a timeline of just like, if you don't want to hear our rants, just skip, you know, 15, 20 seconds to like, 25 minutes and 30 seconds, whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah. So they're stuck in with
giant
T-Tommy.
cell thing. Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I was getting you back to where you were.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. I know.
I'm glad we record like separately.
Shambles. Yeah.
Shambles. So Allison's like, the guard. He said he was coming back, didn't he? Or is this some sort of cruel prison joke? And Julia's like, you know what? We're better off locked up in here. Then like they got to get control of the prison, and then they'll let us out, and it'll be fine. And Mary Jo's like, that's the ugliest thing I've ever heard. And Carlene's like, it sure was. Of course, you never heard my ex-husband, Dwayne Dauber, and his buddies throwing up after a hard night of drinking. That sounds
gross. Gross.
Gross. And Julia says, I can't believe this. Is this bad timing or what? Like, some of these men have been in here for 25 years. Why break out now? And then Allison is like constantly adjusting her wig. And she says, well, Julia, they may have been able to tolerate life in here for that long. That is, until you started to sing.
That's a good.
And Carlene's like, that's so mean.
Yeah.
So mean.
Yeah.
And Carlene's like, that's not Julia singing that did this. I think you sang real well. Hey, when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. This is the song that Julia was singing. And like, she keeps just like saying the lyrics to Julia until Julia's like, okay, that's enough, Carlene. Like, you can stop now. And Allison says, I can't believe you standing in the middle of the prison riot saying, where are y'all going? And Carlene's like, excuse me, I've never been to a prison riot before. The closest I've ever gotten are the half-price gold rush days at the Walmart. I love how everyone in the South says the Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. People say it that way in Danville, too.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh.
Like, the Walmart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Allison's like, Carlene, don't start with me. And Mary Jo says, let's not fight amongst ourselves. We've got to stay focused. I've seen enough Linda Blair movies to know we cannot panic. They smell your fear. And Julia says, the important thing here is we keep calm and, as low a profile as possible. And then Carlene's like, it looks like Anthony's taking your advice. Like, he's curled up in like the fetal position on the couch in the corner.
Anthony.
Julia's going to go check on him. Poor Anthony.
I know.
Having flashbacks.
Yeah.
And she goes to check on him, and like as soon as she gets there, he jumps like 10 feet in the air. And he's like, Julia, never sneak up on a man in prison.
Nope.
And she asks if he's okay, and he's like, oh, I'm just fine, hunky-dory, just thinking about how happy I am to be back here, locked up in a prison again with T. Tommy Reed, just warming myself in the glow of this golden moment. I love his sarcasm.
Oh my gosh.
And he says, what was I thinking coming back here? The high walls, the armed guards, attack dogs, barbed wire. None of these things are exactly saying, y'all come on back now, you hear?
I love that.
And then yeah. And he goes back in his fetal position. And he's like, I forgot how much I hated it here. Like, why did I want to come back? And Julia says, because you wanted to help people like yourself. And Anthony said, there's nobody like myself in here. And then Julia's like, come on over and sit with us. And T. Tommy is sitting in front of the television watching Wheel of Fortune, just like having the time of his life, just chilling.
He loves it. That's what I like about T. Tommy is he's kind of just like, he just takes care of himself. Mm-hmm. He does what he needs to do.
Yep. I feel like he would be like, when he gets out, I mean, yeah, he murders people, but like, he knows how to like ballroom, and he has all these interests, and he's probably like a really refined guy.
Yeah.
And he's real smart. He just like murders people. Like, he just can't stay out of prison.
Sometimes you murder people, and
sometimes you just murder people.
Yeah. He's a little bit like the Southern Hannibal Lecter.
Yes. Like charming as fuck, but will eat you.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Literally.
But we'll eat you.
But we'll eat you.
I wish we had T-shirts or something that were from our quotes. Now we do from like the show, but like our quotes, like that's hilarious. But he will
like
eat
episode
you.
T-shirts.
Is like,
He'll eat you. Charming as fuck. Will eat you.
Yeah, exactly. Like what?
I'm sorry, my mouth gets us an explicit every episode. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I'm not sorry.
It's like if you look us up in iTunes, every single one is an E. That's like
I thought that was just like once you do it, like you are an E. But I figured out recently that that's not true. That some people, it's only certain ones are an E. We're always E all the way.
All of them. Can't go an hour and 20 minutes without dropping 6 F-bombs.
Mm-hmm,
Sorry.
Yeah. So proud. It's a show for the whole family.
So proud.
Mm-hmm.
We're a family show. And T. Tommy's watching Wheel of Fortune. Allison is hungry, and Anthony's like, "You're what?" And Allison's like, "My quick metabolism, and I need several small meals a day, and I didn't particularly care for that lunch that they served us. Is that okay with you?" And Carlene points out that there's a hospitality tray full of fruit and wieners. Fruit and wieners. Oh man.
Oh my god,
Makes
that's
me so
me. I would
hungry.
totally. Come on, I would. That is, yeah. You got some cheese
Best
on there
hospitality
too.
tray
I'm great. I'm so happy
ever.
with it. Yeah.
Allison's like, "Where is it?" And then like they figured out. Cut to Anthony is now serving everyone off the hospitality tray because it was on the other side of T. Tommy Reed, so they had to like pass him to get it. And so now, of course, like he's making Anthony do all the things.
Yes.
And T. Tommy is quite taken with Allison. And he says, "Forgive me for staring, but you have the most luxurious hair. Do you mind me saying that?"
Oh,
She has a wig
what
on.
a
real bad wig.
gentleman.
He's such a gentleman. Her wig is terrible. Not
It's
as
a
bad as
bad
what's under it.
but
it's still a bad
wig. It's just pleasant.
Yeah. See, he's nice. And Allison's like, "Well, no." And Mary Jo asks T. Tommy, like, you know, what's on, like, what he's in for this time, and laughs. And he says, "Oh, you know, we should dance." And Anthony says that he's too rusty. It's been so long since he's danced with another man. And T. Tommy's like, "Oh, I don't want to dance with you. I want to dance with Allison." And so he tells Anthony he's got to play the piano so they can dance. And so Anthony's playing the piano. The ladies are hanging around it. And T. Tommy's just like cutting a rug with Allison. Like he
It's
is
great.
picking her up and just like carrying her around. They're doing
my
like,
God, I love it.
like some sort of swing dancing. And he's just like, you know, just like a rag doll, just throwing her around, like having a blast. And Marriage is like, "This is very strange. It's kind of like watching a combo of American Bandstand and America's Most Wanted."
Yeah.
And Anthony says that he feels really silly. Like he came in here wanting to be Albert Schweitzer and ended up being Jerry Lee Lewis.
No.
No one wants to be Jerry Lee Lewis.
No, nobody. Sorry.
He's not a nice man. And then Mary Jo says, "Is it my imagination or Allison and T. Tommy like kind of starting to hit it off?
Yeah.
I know when she started dancing, it was to save her life, but now it really seems like she's enjoying it."
Yep. She loves
it.
it.
I have a note.
Look, she loves attention. That's like the joke is always that like people don't give her confidence or whatever, but it's like she loves attention.
And he is like undivided attention. Like,
yeah,
she's soaking that up. There will be a gif of them dancing because I have a note that says timestamp. GIF this. And then Carlene says, "Well, she's kind of drawn to convicts, isn't she? First that insider trading fiance of hers, and now this guy."
Oops.
Oops. And then Mary Jo says, "It reminds me of that trip we took." Here we go. We like spent like 5 minutes before we started taping trying to confirm this. Good eye, Erin. You caught this. I never even thought about it. Mary Jo's like, "You know, it reminds me of that trip we took. Remember, Julia, when we ended up in the mountains with those hillbilly guys and they made them dance with us? As a matter of fact, T. Tommy kind of looks like that hillbilly guy that made me dance with him. Erin, would you like to share with him? Share with our audiences." I was looking at him from T. Tommy in my notes. What we found.
So when they said this, I was like, hold on. This show reuses people sometimes,
does.
or in the same way they also will just like ignore they'll ignore things and then maybe they'll bring it back up. Like for example, Suzanne's engagement to Quantum Leap in the like pilot episode or whatever it is. Like we tried to act like that didn't happen, and then forever and ever and ever, and then suddenly they were like, oh, we're gonna actually talk about it again. Like what the hell?
Right.
And they reused the man who was Charlene's professor that was inappropriate was also the dude that was ridiculous. I think he was a client or like a lawyer or something in the tornado episode. Exact same actor. And I was like, these nut bars probably actually did reuse him. And so I asked you when we called him, like I called you like, Leslie, did they reuse him? And I looked him up, and no, they used MC Gainey to be Junior in the, what is it from Hee Haw? Escape from Hee Haw?
Something like
or whatever.
That.
Oh, shoot,
I didn't write down the episode, but it's in
I
season
know.
4. It's when they go to the mountains and have to dance forever
and everyone's
with those
dancing.
lilies.
There's a great gift that you made. Also, shout out to Leslie has upped the amount of designing women gifts on the internet by like 8,000%. Just for me, there were Leslie. There were none before you made them, and now
there were not very many.
There were absolutely none, and now that it's coming back on Hulu, people are all excited and using gifs, and I'm like, I know that gif. Like they're all from you. They're all from you. Anyway, so if you look up for Design Women GIF, probably it was made by Leslie. Shout out to Leslie. We have a really good GIF from the episode where they're all fighting. Basically, is when we think about it.
Yeah.
And I remember he danced in that episode too. Who was it that danced with? Was it Julia or was it Charlene? I don't remember.
I don't know, because Mary Jo says it was her, but I don't think
was it Mary Jo?
Maybe it was Mary Jo.
Maybe it was Mary Jo.
Because she said it was her
okay.
just now. But
well, they probably know. I'm sorry, I missed that part. They probably did. But yeah, we looked up. Same actor.
Same actor.
Oh man.
And then they're just like breaking almost like breaking the fourth wall. They're just like making fun of themselves for it.
What are they doing? That was really strange. Like they could have just not talked about it, but then they're going to talk about it. So
yeah,
and just mess us all up. I guess audiences in the 90s were just like, okay, but
well,
now,
they did that in Golden Girls too. Like
right,
Miles was somebody else before he was Miles.
Yeah.
And they did that a couple of different times with different actors.
You know why they can't?
Deep Throat was in there a couple times. Sorry, I call him Deep Throat because he was Deep Throat on X-Files. I don't know his real name.
Yes, nobody does. They can't.
No one does. He's Deep Throat.
That's it. They can't exactly get away with it now because of the internet.
Nope.
That's what the difference is. That's the difference.
The internet will get you.
These stupid us millennial idiots who can like easily just look something up. We got the receipts. We're like, hold on, let me look this up real quick and see. Let me
fact check that for you.
Like, people didn't have memories back then. They didn't have memories to just remember.
And you had
to
watch it,
person.
and unless you had a VCR, which is like $800, like you had no record of that shit.
You got to watch it once. And that was.
You better be home on Tuesday night at 8:00, or like nothing.
Hope you don't
or
have
you
to
just
pee.
read TV
you might
Guide
miss
and
something.
find out everything that happened.
Yeah. Like even the fact that we can pause like live television is like life changer. You know, nowadays, like you had to. Yeah. So there we go. So now people like us can do podcasts about it, look it up, and be like, oh yeah, actually that's true. You read the same actor. So Leslie, continue. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No.
That was a fun segue.
Excuse you for saying sorry. I'm not sorry again.
Let me go ahead. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, no, like I'm going to go ahead and say not sorry like ever. I told you I am.
That's a new hashtag. Hashtag sorry not ever.
I told you I can't be tamed today. I'm just like
not ever. Oh, I'm here for it.
Good. Okay.
So Mary Jo says this thing, and then Julia's like, oh, do I remember that time I had to slow dance for 3 hours with that person named Daddy Jones who chewed tobacco and hadn't had a bath since Eisenhower? Vaguely. And Carlene's like, y'all had so many adventures before I met you. Aww. That's like 2 stories now that Carlene has learned about that we already knew because she wasn't there.
Yeah.
In this one episode.
Yeah.
And then Julia
I don't know how I
says,
feel about
man, it's
that.
been one. Do what?
I don't know how I feel about that.
And
This
yeah.
this like narrative device.
Right. Like bringing them into the loop, but also reminding us because people didn't have it
But
on
Leslie,
DVD.
it's probably because they had to remind people.
Because they had to remember.
They saw it once.
Like, do you remember that time? Audience, hey, do you also remember that time?
Yeah,
Did you miss
that's
that
what
episode?
it is.
Probably.
Oh my god. Okay.
And Julia's like, man, it's one adventure too many. There's got to be some way to put a stop to this. Talking about like this one, like this is one adventure too many.
Yeah.
And then like T. Tommy dips Allison,
Oh, so
and her
good.
wig falls completely off. You gotta glue that shit down. If
You
Drag
gotta
Race taught us anything,
glue
it's
down
glue your wig down.
Your wig. My wig.
Your wig.
Whose accent is
What
that?
accent
I don't
is
know.
that?
I think it's kind of southern. I don't
Okay.
know. Oh my.
And so her wig falls off, and Mary Jo says, well, that's one way. And then we cut to Allison crying and telling this incredibly tragic like story of her hair to T. Tommy, and she's crying and like she's super sad, and he's very empathetic. And she talks about how she hates this guy and his stupid ponytail, and T. Tommy's like, don't cry, Miss Allison, I can't stand it when you cry. He's like, I still have connections on the outside, like you just say the word, and this Tango guy is history. And Allison's like, you'd have a man killed for me? That is so sweet. No one has ever done anything like that for me before.
I told you, she just likes attention.
She just likes attention. And then she hesitates. And she's like, but no, you can't do that. Promise me you won't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And T. Tommy's like, well, okay. But like, I just want you to know the offer stands. And then he wants to do the tango with her, but she doesn't know how to tango.
Mm-hmm.
So then he says Anthony will tango with him so they can show her how. If you want a clip of this before the show hits Hulu on the 26th, you can go to our YouTube page because their whole dance has been clipped and is on there for your entertainment and ours.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Because our YouTube
like
page.
did a clip
sorry.
of their no, you're good, of their tango that they do together, because like I was gonna do a series of GIFs and then I'm like, this is priceless.
It's too much.
So I just did a whole clip. Yeah.
Okay, shout out again that Leslie is single-handedly designing women on fucking YouTube. Let's go ahead and say fucking because we're E circle all the time.
We're E
all
day every day.
All day every day, and we're not sorry.
Not sorry.
Yeah, Leslie is making it so that you can access your favorite clips. Because she's amazing,
clips.
and because you
And our
have the
favorite clips.
DVDs, and you are amazing. And there we go.
Aw,
So
your face is amazing. Thank you.
you're welcome. So yeah, we don't know a lot about this show, but damn it, we're providing somehow.
We're providing a public service, a designing women public service. Oh man,
Yeah.
my wine glass is empty. This is a problem. Okay.
Oh no.
So, we're almost done. We're
we're
getting
almost
there.
done.
All
We're
right.
good.
So Anthony says he's afraid this is going to happen, and then they ask Julia to play the piano for them. And so if you want to see gifs of Julia like just getting into her inner gang, like her inner Wolfgang.
Did
Like,
you
I
say
got
inner
those.
gang?
I was trying to say inner Wolfgang, and I just like took out Wolfgang.
It's not the same.
It doesn't take much anymore, folks. My tolerance is
It's great.
very low. Migraines will do that. All right.
Oh, hun.
So, T. Tommy says that he must like enjoy like lording his freedom and all the success over them, and Anthony says that that's not at all why he came back. And T. Tommy is like, oh, well, you just think you're better than us, don't you? And Anthony says, no, I don't. And like the whole time they're having this conversation, I will remind you, they are doing the tango, including the olays and all of that, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, T. Tommy's like into it. Like, this is his shit. He loves it. And he's like, you came back here to tell us like how to live with your fancy clothes and your college law degree. And Anthony's like, that's not why I came back here. I just came to help. And then like Julia's into this piano playing, like
Yeah.
full
like
prodigy.
Gang. Like Wolfgang gang.
Exactly, like gang.
Mm-hmm.
And T. Tommy says, just because you got out and made something of yourself, and I got out and killed a man, and they sent me back here, you think you're better than me. And Anthony's like, no. Well, yes. And Anthony says, you'll probably kill me for saying this, but I didn't come back here to tell lies. Yes, it's better to get out and to get a job than to commit more crimes. And yes, I'm better than you because I made myself better. And another thing, I have guts because I came back in here and tried to help someone else, and I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have 2 things to say to you. 1, this will be our last dance together permanently. Wow. And number 2, always dip on the downbeat. And he dips T. Tommy like right as Julia is finishing the song. And they hold it, and the guard comes up to unlock it, and they're still in this embrace. And he's just like weirded out, and he's like, I can get y'all out safely now unless you'd rather me come back at a later time.
I knew this was going to happen.
Right? And then we cut to Sugar Baker's some days later, and Anthony comes in, and he says, guess what I got? And Julia says, don't tell me. An invitation for the 5 of us to make a little inspirational talk in Beirut. Ooh, burn. And Anthony says, that little prison trip wasn't so bad, was it? I think we got a lot out of it. I exercised a few demons, and all in all, I think we got a lot out of it. Don't you? And everybody else is like, no, altogether.
No.
But what Anthony is holding is a thank you letter from Jack Henry. We finally figure out his name. I swear they did not say it before. He was just like the prison official walking around. Yeah. But like no one said his name that I found out.
I didn't hear it.
And so it says he included that one of the guys wants Anthony to be his legal consultant. And that he actually may be in on a bad rap. And although Anthony is not a lawyer, he may be able to help him like appeal and get out because like Anthony, he's in there, wrongfully. Yeah. And then also T. Tommy Reed has sent Allison a package, and she opens the letter and it says, no harm has come to Mr. Tango, but please accept this as a token of my undying esteem. She holds it up and it's his ponytail. She talks about how much she hated his ponytail.
Yeah, it's beautifully braided and everything.
It is. It's so long and luxurious.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and that's how we go out. Like that is
how we die. How we go out. Sorry.
That's the end, and then there were credits.
Oh man, I can't. And I like that. Really, they're pointing out this. They made such a big deal in the beginning seasons of Anthony being a convict, and that he's not only a business owner, but he is working to be a lawyer, and maybe he's going to be in criminal law and help people. Like that is amazing. I just love that. Sorry, that Huff was at the prison system being broken. Never, it was never broken.
It's so bad.
It was never not. It's always been horrible. But amazing that Anthony's trying to, do something. Did you have a favorite outfit?
I did. Did you have one?
I did, but you go first.
Okay. So mine was Mary Jo's first outfit, I think.
Yeah.
She has got on this it's like a suit almost, but it's a skirt. She has on black tights.
So good.
Black skirt, and then like this button-up vest type thing that is white or ivory, I guess, with like goldish buttons, and then she has on the suit jacket over top of it. Soup's profesh. And then these giant gold earrings that she would totally have to take off if she wanted to answer the phone.
Yes.
And then her hair is all down and big and beautiful and amazing. It's professional and stylish and very, very early 90s, and I love it so much.
And in character for her. Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yep. How about you?
Mine was chill. It was actually Carlene's from the beginning. Shout out to like everyone had really like I liked their suits that they wore to prison. Also,
the suits were good.
The suits were good, but I really liked Carlene's in the beginning. I'm pretty sure I wore that exact outfit many times, where it's just a giant skirt, like A-line skirt, with a t-shirt tucked into it, and it was the first time where I've seen something on this show where I wasn't thinking I would be wearing it ironically. Like, I probably would wear that.
And those cuff sleeves are coming back. Like, I roll my t-shirt sleeves up like that now.
Yes. I thought she looked so adorable. Oh, my gosh. With her little bob haircut and everything. Yeah. I thought she looked really good. But yeah, also all the suits were really good too, because the suits had like embroidery on them and stuff. I was like, what is this? It was great.
Julia looks really good in a Kelly green.
Yeah, that was my second choice, was Julia's green that she wears with her hair up.
Same.
That was good. Leslie, is that our explicit episode?
That is our always explicit episode.
Always explicit episode. Where can people find us?
We're all over the internet.
Oh, no.
Excuse me.
There you go. Sorry.
We are the Girls Who Came to Sugar Bakers on iTunes and our Podbean site. So if you're looking for access feeds, that's how you find us. But if you are looking for us on other social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Pinterest, we are Sugar Baker Girls. We are getting more regular at posting, especially like in anticipation of the Hulu launch. So definitely check those out.
Life is calming down a little bit, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like more clips, more GIFs, more screenshots, more shenanigans on all of those platforms. And thanks for listening. We appreciate it. If you do have a moment, sorry, I forgot to say, please review us on iTunes.
Do it for Erin.
Wherever. Do it for Erin.
For
Wherever
Erin,
you get your
Erin
podcast.
cares.
Help us reach more people. Hashtag Erin cares.
I do. That's true. Erin Bear cares. I do, because it's just, I'm just not gonna get over it. But look, it is like, I'm bipolar about it. As much as I like am upset about people who hate us, I like 300% love people who even just talk to us on like Twitter or like Instagram or like Facebook or like anything, like anybody talking to us at all. Most of the time it is me responding, because I am so excited that you exist. So there we go. So that's so really I understand that the love is there, and I love as well. So there we go.
Yes, we love you,
but also do it for Erin. Oh,
we
gosh.
will
Okay. We'll
talk
see
to
you
you next time.
or whatever. Not see. Oh, Leslie.
That thing we do. We will catch you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Too much.
My friend, just need to grow. Our friendship won't end.
That's what people say about stuff like Last Tango in Paris. They're like, oh, but artistically, it was like just things were different. And I was like, yeah, and things sucked.
Yeah,
And
and it sucked. And it was wrong.
It was wrong.